Hey everyone, and welcome to the Hair Healer Podcast. I'm the host, Colleen Dixon, aka the Hair Healer. On my show, I interview clients, hairstylists, healers, friends, family, people in the beauty industry, and sometimes just a person with a story. We discuss their lives, healing journeys, astrology, inner child healing, spirituality, trauma, hopes, dreams, and everything in between. All questions are channeled to me in the moment while I'm doing the interview. My goal is to give a raw and uncensored view into someone's world and soul in hopes to raise the consciousness of the planet and bring connection back into the world and to people. Join me, and now let's go exchange some energies. Hey guys, and welcome to the Hair Healer Podcast. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has supported, shared everything. My article at the Philadelphia Inquirer came out yesterday, and everyone has been amazing. So hopefully with this episode dropping, I have some new listeners, and I'm excited to have you guys listening and joining in on the Hair Healer Podcast. This is episode 35, I believe. I should know that as I'm recording my intro. But before we hop in here again, thank you again for everyone who has supported me. Please share this with friends, family, whatever you're listening to this on. Rate, review, subscribe. Again, the more you do that, the more it gets the Hair Healer name out there. So before we jump into talking about this super cool episode, which I'm excited about, I just want to talk again a little bit of astrology. Right now, the moon is in Scorpio, moving into Sagittarius in about a day and a half, 2 days. And the moon in Scorpio, for me, I can always feel like a very intense bubbling under the surface, a lot of an intense energy. So I'm telling you, pay attention to what triggers that, who triggers that. When you all of a sudden feel, it's almost like anxiety, but different. You know, your body kind of comes over heat and it's racing thoughts, but you can still breathe. You know the difference. It feels different, and your blood is pumping. And pay attention to those feelings, whether it's feelings of love, lust. That's definitely a big Scorpio thing. Is it feelings of friendship? Is it feelings of anger? You know, what is coming out, because that is asking to be released from you under this moon. Okay, so release it. It's about being authentic, releasing those steps. Those things helps us get to our true authenticity, okay? And so there also might be right now a little bit of, you know, a tinge of, what should I say, bitchiness. No offense, I love my Scorpio placements, but Scorpio energy is like the darker side of night. And so sometimes they can be a little bit short, or just like, you just don't want to deal with the bullshit, all right? I just don't want to hear it. So whatever, dive in, go into the dark stuff that comes out under that Scorpio moon. Also, Mercury moved into Cancer, and it's also in its retrograde shadow period. Retrograde is coming in a few weeks. People, I know everyone's like, oh my God, don't say that, Colleen, but it's going to be in the sign of Cancer, and let's talk about it. I could feel it moving yesterday into its shadow period, and right now, it's asking us, though, slow down our communication. Mercury rules, yes, technology, the higher mind thinking, but it also rules communication and how we communicate the way our style, right? Mercury likes to break things down. So on a slower note, how are we communicating? Are we communicating correctly with people, right? Are we getting our point across? Are we able to engage with people? Are we having a lot of miscommunications? Are people mishearing us? Are we misreading people? Are we misseeing things? Like, it's a chance to slow down and actually look at how we communicate. How are we not communicating? What don't we like in other people's communication styles? What kind of people do we have trouble communicating with? Okay, so it's giving us time to slow down. Also, emotions and sensitivity get a little bit extra during this time. So maybe, again, and I always suggest this, and I'll talk about Mercury retrograde 10 million more times with each episode. Don't go looking, especially in the sign of Cancer, don't go looking for a fight. Don't pick a fight. If you can avoid a fight, just try to avoid it, because even right now, just heightened, I mean, we don't have to speak about what's going on currently in the world, but in general, like heightened emotions, more sensitivities. And just wishy-washy, maybe not getting your point across again, and that who knows where that leads. So just try to stay a little more introverted, inner crab, try to avoid the defensiveness, indirect, and try to avoid injury, even though, again, as the crab energy wants to go inward, try to avoid indirect communication with people, okay? Try to avoid, actually say what you mean, even if it's hard. But again, if it's coming from no point, a place of anger, don't do it. Just avoid it during retrograde, okay? So again, there's going to be a lot coming, a lot of emotions. We have eclipses going on. I don't know a lot to talk about eclipses as much as I'd like to. Again, now that I'm in school and I'm working with my astrology professor and hearing him talk, I'm like, oh my God, okay, so I feel like I can't, but you can check him out, Nightlight Astrology. He has a lot of amazing talks on YouTube and his podcast, especially with all different kinds of things. Again, I'm getting there. So, again, and you might be extra, not only are other people extra sensitive, you might be extra sensitive. So be gentle with yourself as well. And as you're with other people. So, and also our intuitive nature is amplified. So not only if you're used to thinking logical brain wise, maybe go with your intuition a little more and trust in that. All right. So let me jump into today's episode. I'm super excited. Megan was a client of mine years ago when I worked in Ardmore. So I want to say maybe 6, and she was a student at Villanova. And at the time she came in, sat down. She was from New York. She just had this bigger than life personality. We couldn't stop talking, instantly loved each other right away. And she had internship with Ellen DeGeneres. She does, PA, I think that's what it's called. She works with talk shows. We'll get into that. Okay. And, production assistant, PA, production assistant. And she was working with the Ellen Show. And I said, that's so cool. And then we worked together for a few years. And then she moved off back out to LA with Ellen. And she has worked with the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show. She's worked with so many cool people. Most recently, she was Bethenny Frankel's assistant. She was on the last season with her of The Real Housewives of New York. If you don't know who that is, Bethenny Frankel is a housewife of New York. So she's on there and she talks about what it was like working with her. She has so much awesome. We talk about her love life currently, what it was when she was in my chair, what it is now. This is a really fun and amazing episode. And something funny I'll leave you with, and I don't remember saying this to her, but when she had graduated and left to go back out to work for the Ellen Show, again, I love Ellen DeGeneres, but I said to her, I'm really kind of a Wendy Williams girl. And I love Wendy. I sit in a purple chair right now because we talked about that on my episode. I'm a huge, I feel like I would like to be a blend of Wendy Williams, Oprah, Ricky Lake, and then me. So I guess maybe that's what I make myself up as a talk show host. I don't know. We'll see how this evolves. But anyway, let me jump into today's episode and stop talking. Again, please rate, review, subscribe, send this with people. I love you guys. Follow me on Instagram at the Hair Healer 1111, on Twitter at the Hair Healer, TikTok the Hair Healer. And if you have a story or you just want to chat, send me an email, suggestion, anything, the Hair Healer podcast at yahoo.com. Thank you guys, and let's jump into this episode. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Hair Healer podcast. It's Friday night, and that's when I originally got started doing my episodes at Capriati Salon, but instead I'm in my little studio in my bedroom, in the corner, in my purple Wendy Williams chair. And so bringing it back to how the episodes really originally were me interviewing my clients about their personal lives at the salon. Well, tonight I am with a former client who I did her hair. We're just discussing this before we hopped on here the last time, I think 5 years ago, but that's when I did her hair. And now she's in New York and living large. And I was happy to have her. Say hello to everyone, Megan.
Hello, Hair Healer podcast viewers and listeners.
Let's start with, what were you saying? She was about to say something. I was like, wait, let's tell the audience about doing your hair. Because you were going to school at Villanova, right? When I started to do your hair?
Yes. So I think we met when I was a junior going to be a senior. This was probably 2014 when we met originally.
Yeah.
And it was a really interesting time for me. And I was saying this before, we had such a special connection for a colorist and a client, because
I feel like it was an instant connection like this.
And especially because I hadn't really found a salon that I liked. I was, I'm from New York. I was kind of back and forth from school. And at the time I had just gotten that internship at the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. And I was coming to you because, I wanted a great new look and I needed someone to redo me. So, we had met right around then, and the timing was just so interesting because then you did my hair throughout my senior year, right before I graduated college. You did it for my graduation day. You cut my hair. My whole family came. Really special, pivotal times, just milestones whenever we saw each other. And I just thought that was so special. And we always kind of kept in touch even when I moved to Los Angeles. And I don't know, I really think there's something. Whenever, I'm sure all clients can attest to this, but Colleen, really creates an experience.
Aw, that's so sweet. Thank you. I was just thinking about you and our connection. I remember with you, what was so great is your instant, like, again, different than the typical main line and the people that were coming in. You had this instant bubbly and talking like, hey, how are you? What's your name? Oh my God, I'm Colleen. And we just like jumped right into, I feel like crazy, like your life, dating, your jobs. We just jumped right into it, which is what we're going to do on the Hair Healer podcast and like instant friends. So after I saw you, you went right out to California after?
Yeah. So the last time I saw you was at Capriati,
Yeah.
and it was my graduation day. I was leaving for Los Angeles actually in July. And then it was really kind of a short stunt, but I don't know if did I see you again after that?
No, I think we've never, we tried to, I want to say like a year or so or something, you were coming back to town for something.
Right. Yes.
Our schedules, my schedule at work, it just didn't meet up, but I think that was the last time.
I know. But anyway, yes. So I was out in Los Angeles for, I guess that was 2015, 2016. I was working on the Ellen Show.
So how was the Ellen Show? Before that, though, you had worked with her for a tiny bit, right? Because I remember you had in college, you were doing something with her, right?
Exactly. So I was interning first. And then once I graduated, I contacted the producers, like I'd love to PA, meaning be a production assistant on set. And so I joined for, I think it was season 13. I did about like half a season. And then honestly, it was a little too much too soon moving out there. I felt like way too overwhelmed.
Right from college or the first time?
Right. Sorry. So I did the internship, then got the PA position when I graduated. And then that was like really when I was making the full move. And I think it was too much too soon. And, after college and just getting into a new city and meeting new people, it was way too much. And
especially jumping right into LA. Were you like super overwhelmed with the LA lifestyle, the men, what?
Or the lack thereof. No, I think that it was everything because I was so used to Villanova, which was such a bubble for me. I mean, I went to college with 17 kids from my high school. Like it was all Long Island, New York, Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts. Like that is really who goes to Villanova. So you don't get a lot of West Coast kids.
No.
So there wasn't really a big network for me out there. It was really like starting over. And that combined with, just like working those long hours. And I love the show to this day. I am still a huge, huge fan. And actually we could talk about it, but some of my intentions and goals right now are to get back out there. So
back in LA or back to the Ellen Show?
Both.
So you would, if you could go back to work for anyone in LA, you would pick Ellen?
I mean, I'm open. I'm not just going to limit myself and put all my eggs in one basket because I don't think that that's productive. I want to really find the best opportunity to help me grow at this point. I don't want to be like living in nostalgia, like, oh, well, Ellen was great 5 years ago for me, so let me go back. Like, it's not like that.
Yeah. What's your goal? What's your goal with it?
So always producing. I want to be a producer.
Okay. So I'm thinking for my own talk show, you could come work for me one day.
Oh my God, Colleen, yeah. I was taking a 15-minute nap before the podcast because, like, let me be totally on my game.
Wow.
And I was thinking, I was like, what if Colleen had like a late night talk show one day, like Friday night, full moon Friday nights, or like late night with Lady Lunar. Like I was thinking of all these names for you. I swear to God.
That is going to be the final goal. That was my dream since I was a kid, would be the talk show. So one day we're going to be laughing when you're like my producer on there.
Oh my God. No, I'm serious. I'm all for it. And also we lost Chelsea Handler. Like we lost all these late night women.
Forgot about her. I loved her. I used to watch her all the time. When did she go away? Why?
She had a spin-off Netflix series, but she isn't on late night anymore. They had like a Busy Phillips recently. That was a stunt. I don't think it got picked up. And then now I think it's Late Night with Lily Singh is another show. But there's women are not represented enough in late night. You need to be, Colleen.
Coming back, baby. What? Maybe a year or two. I'm coming back. On the late night tonight. I love that. So you're going to go back out there. And then you went to New York though, and you worked in New York assisting.
So yes. So after LA, I came back to New York in 2016 and I worked at the Tribeca Film Festival.
What'd you do there?
So I was a talent relations coordinator. So the two founders of the festival. Have you ever been to
Never. I would love to. Not yet. One day.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the last week in April, but obviously with everything going on, they may have put it virtually, but I mean, once everything's kind of back to a normal of sorts, you have to go. So I assisted the SVP of talent relations. So Jane Rosenthal and Robert De Niro are the creators of the festival. So they have their VIPs that come to these screenings, and it's my job to like get them down the red carpet and make sure they're happy.
How was that? Stressful?
Honestly, it was, I was so used to being around high profile people from my previous positions. So like and I grew up like idolizing Hollywood. My dad was like really, really into the Hollywood culture. And I think that it wasn't necessarily that I guess I was impressed. I was very impressionable, but at the same time, I wasn't like freaking out, you know?
Can you tell me who was the nicest? We'll start with that person that you sent down the red carpet and helped. Anyone surprising? You're like, oh my God, they are so cool or nice or whatever.
Let me think. I mean, I will say this, and you probably don't know who it is.
Yeah.
His name is Julian Schnabel, and he's a filmmaker and a painter, but he was so nice that he ended up offering me a job, and I worked for him for 2 years after it. So like I was going to say someone like really, Harvey Keitel, for instance.
Okay.
He was super, super nice. I had to escort Sybil Shepherd. It was the whole cast from Taxi Cab. Taxi driver.
Yeah.
So they had a reunion that year. So that whole cast was really great. But Julian Schnabel, I think, was probably my favorite. If you look him up, Colleen, he wears tinted glasses and pajamas. Like that's his signature look.
Oh, I love him already.
I know.
That's hilarious. So who was the worst or the meanest? And you don't have to say their name if you can't. If you can, I would love it. But if not, you just have to tell the story. Then you can just say who.
I mean, you're never going to believe this, but in the Tribeca building was the Weinstein Company. So I actually shared an elevator ride with Harvey Weinstein. He wasn't, XYZ. It was just like looking back, I'm like, this is so crazy what happened to this guy's empire.
Wow. So you probably share an elevator with him right prior to the whole thing exploding, right? Everything coming out then?
Probably like a year and a half before, yeah.
Right? Because it all just started a couple years ago. Had you heard anything prior to that, though, about him ever? Like standing in that elevator, have you ever remember whispers of him being a creep or things like this coming up?
You know what's funny? I thought about that because at the time he was still such a bigwig. I mean, he produced and his company produced such huge movies. So I don't even think I thought to ask anyone, but because also back in the 50s and 60s, the slogan used to be like, sleep with who you want to get the part for,
That was the slogan?
Your way up. That was like the slogan in Hollywood, like, who'd you sleep with?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that at least, that's obviously the way it used to be.
Wouldn't it be cool if obviously we would like it to be equal in both the masculine and the feminine, but wouldn't it be cool if it switches one day and like the men are like, what woman did you sleep with to get to the top?
Oh my God. The roles reversed. That is so epic. I love that.
And I think it might very much be like that. And they would love it. Men would love it.
Yeah, I agree.
So your most recent job in New York was working with the
one and only Bethenny Frankel.
Bethenny, I know you threw that on there. Bethenny Frankel. So what was that experience? And you were on the show, correct? You were on the last season of The Housewives. So people that don't know, she is from the New Jersey Housewives, Bethenny Frankel. She had the skinny wine empire, the whole shebang.
Yes, New York Housewives. She
Oh, New York. Sorry, I said New Jersey, New York.
Get it right, Colleen.
No,
No.
shit.
So she did her last season with the Housewives, which I was her serving as her personal assistant. And I mean, when we were going through production, I mean, nobody really knew it would have been the last season. Also, I've never done unscripted television. Like for me, reality TV, I also followed the Housewives franchise.
So it is more unscripted than we think it is, the Housewives?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I guess it depends on each city maybe, but
Okay.
which cities did you watch when you said you used to watch?
So we're talking back like 10 years ago. So which ones were out? I remember
Orange County.
I didn't like Orange County that much. I didn't watch that season. I remember I watched the New Jersey season, the New York season, and the Atlanta season. I think those were all around the same. Those three kind of started, right, at that same time. But I remember not being into the SoCal season for whatever reason. I feel like I thought they were just way too fake.
Yeah. That's pretty much,
maybe boring. I think Jersey was my favorite because I just sort of like people who are classy with a touch of trashy, and then they are, you know what I mean? So I think that was my favorite.
Also, yeah, and I agree. New Jersey was my favorite mostly because they were Italian, and I found that to be, I was like, finally some representation. But I don't know if I want to take that back now. But everything with the Jersey Shore, all Italians.
Love the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
We're full time. You know, when I was a kid, I used to lie to people and tell them that I was Italian. I was like obsessed with zero Italian. And my dad would be like, Colleen, you're not Italian. You're like Irish and German. That's it. So what was it like being on camera on the show? Did you talk on it? Now I feel like I need to go watch it now that I know you were on there.
I could send you the clips too. Because I used to have my friends come over and watch it because I wanted to see if they thought I was acting natural.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, I was just doing what I normally would have done on any given workday. So, for instance, in one of the episodes, she was traveling to, let's say it was Miami. I don't remember. But I was in charge of making sure she was packed and putting everything together. So, like, you see me doing that on the floor in her closet. And it's pretty much a day in the life, you know?
Yeah. And there you were packing?
Yeah, there I was. It actually taught me how to organize and pack. I swear.
You learned a lot from being a PA, right? Is that what you were doing for her? Just variations of PA?
Yes. And you learn a lot. It's something that I can't foresee myself ever doing again because I just don't think I'm personally cut out for it. You have to have a really specific personality and skin to deal with different personalities and
being yelled at, demanded.
Right. And no matter who you work for, that's going to happen because everyone has their preferences, you know? And I think that I'm just better logistically, you know? And I mean, I'm sure you get this with clients too. Like everyone has a really specific preference. And if you do something that they don't like, or you cut it a certain way, or you color it the wrong shade, like they'll freak, or they'll be like, oh, I like this new look for me.
Yeah.
So I think that it's kind of the same with choosing, at least for this line of work, I knew I wasn't cut out for it. So
no, that would be hard too. And I think to like kind of just always take those demands again, you kind of have to do it while you're learning and you're building and going and building up in this industry. You know, what's been the hardest thing since like trying to make it? You're trying to make it in entertainment.
That's a great question. I love your questions. So I would say the hardest thing right now, I'm in graduate school and yeah. So, and also the Instagram that we've been messaging on is strictly for my writing because I almost did like a rebrand.
Your Instagram too?
I had a personal one. Yeah. For years.
Do you still have that?
I deactivated it. It still exists, but it's like deactivated for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Because I know what it is. There's too many accounts. Then I was going back and forth. I was spending all day. I was like, let me just focus on one.
So what's your goal with the writing account?
So I'm in graduate school. I'm majoring in creative writing and digital storytelling, which is just a fancy way of saying media. And Really. I mean, I don't even, it's going to look really fancy on the degree, but at the same time, it's who the fuck knows what it means. So my goal is, listen, I love writing. I love storytelling. I love, you know, seeing something through, whether that would be a segment, you know, a human interest segment on Ellen, for example, or, you know, an independent film that covers a story like book to film, something, I don't know, just something that's powerful and has purpose and meaning. That's usually the goal with both whatever I write or what I want to develop with, you know, it just depends. So yes, I want to be a producer, but I also have this vocation of writing. So somehow mixing the two.
So are you finding more of like a book writing, blog writing, or more of a script writing one day, or both? Or you're not sure?
Yeah. Can I say both and not sure?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to say both and not
When
sure.
did you start this Instagram account?
In August. So it's new.
Okay. In August.
But it's like, Colleen, I don't know where else to put the writing. You know, blogs are kind of dead. Who's going really on Facebook and looking for a new...
No, it's funny you said that about Instagram, because that's where I've found like to look at like blogs per se are kind of dead unless you have more stuff on your website. But like now a lot of people, Instagram is such a weird outlet now. It's so different that a lot of people are doing that. And I try to even do like blog like writings, you know?
Yeah. And if I had the tools, or I guess it just comes with practice and knowing how to market, but my goal hasn't really been, get followers. I just want people who care about writing to read my writing. And if they like it, great. If not, you know, keep scrolling. Because my writing is pretty raunchy, and it's not, you know, once upon a time, there was a rainbow that had a few colors missing. Like it's not very Dr. Seuss-y.
Nice.
So, yeah. So I say that again.
It's darker.
Yeah.
I like dark.
Yeah. Well, because you're deep.
I'm deep. And exactly. I mean, people that don't like dark, not to say that you're not deep, you just don't always maybe like to connect deeply. Right?
Totally.
No, I'm laughing because you were like, she messaged me earlier and said, is this on camera? And I said, well, you and I are on camera, but I pull the audio, and I'm like, she's like, oh, I just wanted to look spiritual. And I'm looking at you, so gorgeous. You're wearing this beautiful like silk or velvet like shirt and hair. And I'm like, all I could see is this oil on my face. I'm wearing a t-shirt and glasses. But
hey, don't forget about your 2 thumbs, okay?
Oh, yeah. And listen, this is I have 2 thumbs. I had to buy my own fake nails. I've been getting my nails acrylic since I was 12 years old, okay, with breaks in between. I just glued my own nails together. I only got 2 up though.
But those are the best fingers to have glued.
That's it, bitches. These 2 thumbs. So what is New York like right now?
So New York.
You were in the city. I mean, right now you're back on Long Island, but you've been in the city for the last 2 months, right?
Yep. Been in the city for the first 3 weeks of quarantine. I was by myself in my apartment. My 2 roommates
were you
left.
depressed? Or how were you during that time?
You know what actually was my saving grace? I met a guy on vacation back in January. So we were actually WhatsApp FaceTiming pretty much for those whole 3 weeks. I got to know him better than I ever would have. There would have never been another time. Had the world not stopped, we would have never started.
So what happened?
We're still talking.
Oh, good. I didn't know you.
We're basically in love, and that's the way it is. No, I don't know, but.
So where's he from? I guess not this country if you're using WhatsApp. What's up?
Very good. Yes, you know. He's from France. But we met in St. Bart's, which is the French West Indies.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, he works there as a sommelier. You know,
what's that? I don't even know how to spell that.
I don't even think I'm saying it right, so I'm so glad you didn't correct me. It's the wine connoisseurs.
Oh.
You know, so if you go out to a restaurant, they try and pair whatever you order off the menu with something that goes with it.
Wait, so that's what he does?
Yeah, he's a wine.
And he's French?
Yeah.
Wow, that's like the sexiest job. Like I don't even know what he looks like, but already he just pairs wine and he's French.
No, it's insane.
So is it like instant? You guys just have an instant connection. It's not the quarantine woes, you know?
Colleen, we went out to dinner the first night we got there to the island. And, I saw him from across the room immediately because he had these piercing blue eyes and like
Dark
just
hair
his
or blonde?
stature. Dark.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I'll send you a picture.
Yeah.
But he, he came over to the table. We were ordering dessert and we had gotten the chocolate mousse, and he was like, would you like something like this? And then I was like,
came to pair your wine with your dessert.
Yeah. And so he gave glasses to everyone at the table except for me. And I was like, what? I was like, what's up? I was like, what did I do? And then like we started to flirt, and I was like, come back to my hotel and let's get a margarita.
Oh my, and now you're in love.
And yeah, I know. And he admitted, he was like, I was so nervous when I was at your table. I probably just forgot to give you like you were. I know, it was cute.
Aw, how's your dating been throughout the last 5 years since I last talked to you?
I guess kind of, I guess in some ways it's been good. I had a relationship after, because when I saw you, I think I was single.
Yeah, but I feel like you just met someone, or you were kind of talking to someone on and off, maybe you were at the time, 22, 23. So I think it was just some jerk off you were talking to.
It was a jerk off. It was a guy I was obsessed with for 8 years.
That's it. Yes.
I know exactly what it was. Oh my God, you're so funny. Also, side note, I'll get back to love life. It's so funny that you're sitting on a Wendy Williams chair, because I remember the first thing about you when I was like, oh yeah, I'm moving out to LA, or, I just got back. And you're like, I'm more of a Wendy Williams gal. Like, oh. Also, another thing I have to add about Colleen, she was the first person to get me to wax my eyebrows. So
really? I don't even remember that.
Yeah, you waxed them.
I remember that, but I was the first one. What did I say to you? I hate to say.
I told you, I was like, I've never done this before. Like nobody's ever, really gone near there. You're like, trust me. And then I trusted you, the universe, and here we are.
And here we are. Thank God I did not screw up on those eyebrows, or you might not have came on this interview. Oh, makes me happy.
I know, it's so crazy. I mean, I haven't gotten them waxed since I saw you, but I still just like pluck them or whatever. But it's just so crazy. I trusted, out of anyone, think of that, my whole life, you're the only person I ever let do certain things. And like, I don't know, we really did connect.
We did connect. Thank you. That is so sweet. Aw. So what happened in your relationship?
Okay. So got rid of the 8-year obsession.
Yeah. Bye, boy.
Yeah. Goodbye. And what was that funny thing you said? You're like, yeah, still trying to get over that bad habit of like with the guys.
Wait, which one? The dating the broke?
Oh yeah, the broke older men.
I like older men. And I said, but if I'm being honest, I like broke older men for whatever reason.
No, actually, that's funny because so that was kind of who I dated.
A broke older man.
Broke older man. He was 6 years older than me. And we were in like a 2-year on and off relationship. And he just made me feel so exhausted, Colleen. Like whenever we were together, it was like, great. We were having a time. He was a very comfortable partner.
Yeah.
But I just found myself losing more and more energy when I was around him. And it's like, when you're being drained, I feel like that's your biggest telltale sign you're not being elevated. Like he didn't bring out the best in me. He didn't make me want to do things. I wasn't inspired. He was like a lethargic. It was just dulling me out.
Yeah, no, I know 100%. And just grabs on and tries to suck the life out of you because of something.
Men do that to women like us because they want to be energized in a certain way.
Yes. They pretend at first like, oh, what you have. Oh yeah, I have that, or I can be that, or I want to be that. And then they grab and then they suck it because they can't give you both. They actually don't have what you have. They just want to steal it from you.
1,000%.
So how'd you end it? How'd you get rid of it? Was it hard?
It was really hard. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm done and better than this. It took a lot of going back and forth. And it was a little like cat and mouse. Like, I want to see if he was there. And then like when he started to move on, I was like, oh no, come back. I got very wish-washy with just like what I thought I was worth and how, I wanted to just be accompanied, and like just escaping the loneliness just became the theme, I guess, if that makes sense.
No, that's a really good way to put it. Escaping the loneliness. Yeah. And just or filling the void.
Totally. Exactly.
Using him as a void filler.
We finally ended last summer for good. We tried to get back together, and we did like a few drinks. We had, one or two last nights together. And then I was just like, nothing's changed. He didn't show me any of the, a lot of the things that were wrong in the relationship hadn't been solved. And, he was like living in his mom's basement, and I kept asking him, like, when are you going to move out? And just like little things like that I just wanted to see some effort. Yeah. And, and these were things that are important to me. You should honor what your partner feels is important. It's like a mutual respect.
Yeah, there comes to the things that are important and to make the relationship successful and keep growing and going. And then there's the things that you compromise on. And if that's something very important, absolutely. That's what you need. Right.
Exactly. And so I think it made me take a harder look at what I really needed after that final go around trying to make it work. And I was just like, this.
Is there a moment you remember just being like, finally, like, you know what? I'm done. Like, was it just in you, or is it something he said? Was it, do you remember that?
What's funny? It was adding up a few things. It was like, he told me, and we hadn't seen each other for a few months, we're reuniting again for like what I'm hoping is the last time. We'll turn it around. We'll get back together. And he's like, oh, I was going to bring you flowers, but I couldn't find any. I'm like, you couldn't stop at the grocery store?
What? You couldn't find you any flowers?
I know. I'm like, I could name 7 different places on the map. And I didn't want to have to do that, but I was like, oh, okay. And then he told me another story about like how he went out and like blacked out so hard he couldn't remember his garage code. And I was like, uh-huh. And like all these things that just like you were saying in passing in dialogue, I was just turning a blind eye to. And you're right. It was kind of like a wake up moment where everything came together. And I was like, no, this is wrong.
Yes. And then you woke up and you just told him?
Yeah. And then I woke up and I was like, I'm going to grad school and this just isn't part of the plan.
Good for you. How'd that feel? You felt like 10 pounds lighter, right?
Oh my God. And it still, cause it still lingers, there's still parts that just linger on even after it's dead and it's done. Sometimes you see a little lingering, but now I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, fuck that.
Fuck that linger.
It's so invigorating, Colleen. Like it feels so good. And to anyone who's listening that's hoping to get over someone and it hasn't happened yet, it does. It just fades out eventually. It really, with time. I think it's time.
It's time. It's time. It's getting through those moments of loneliness, right? Through those.
Yes, right. Not trying to fill it up.
Yes. Just sitting there like, shit, this sucks, and expecting it. And sometimes too, I know for me in all my relationships, it was like, learning when she was coming out, the little girl, the inner child who was like obsessed and has these wrong ways to fall in love and the people she looks at. And when she comes out, I come out and my therapist says I always choose these men because I choose, the little girl chooses play men, like men I want to play with. Right. And then when shit gets serious, right. When I grow up, I still want you to play, but I actually want you to be an adult too. They can't be an adult, So I guess, does that sound similar to you?
Beyond. That's real. You obviously know yourself and you do the inner work and you put the time in and pay attention to yourself. But some people don't do that and they look to fulfill and find the answers in someone else. But it's not about, the relationship isn't going to complete you. That should just be it's a separate part. It's not going to.
Such a separate part. I blame Disney, honestly, and Twilight. Let me tell you, for a few reasons of like my unrealistic, and I think the world's expectation is they made us believe that someone else, right, particularly women, someone else is meant to make us whole, right, to take us to the next level. Our relationships are to meet a man and fall in love and then just go on and do whatever they do. But that's no.
I know. You're right. It is what we were fed. And it's really interesting it's almost like you have to detox yourself from that mentality.
Because it's not real. And maybe for some people it is, and some people it's okay. But I blame them on, and again, then trying to say, listen, we could talk all day long, right? And then trying to save them. When you got to save yourself. If you're trying to save a man right now, you're probably actually trying to save yourself.
1,000%. It's true. You try to fix and control every little aspect of them. And it's like, why are you trying? This is not your fight, you know? And I think that was part of the issue, was I was trying to manipulate and tell him what to do and how to do it. And this is what I want. And it's like, it wasn't aligned. We weren't on the same page.
Wasn't aligned. And then again, that usually means that sometimes it's like a karma relationship, or it's like your inner children, your trauma triggers. Those people want to be together, but your higher aligned self doesn't want to be with that person. It's like, drop them. I'm trying to take you to the next level. Drop their ass.
I love that.
And you dropped them and you're getting on the next level.
No, this is next level shit, Colleen. So like this, okay, so I meet his name's Martin. And
oh, you don't have to say if you don't want to. I'm just curious if it's French. I just like want to actually hear it. Is it French? Like,
it's French. I don't even know how to say it. L'encre? I don't even know how to say it.
Yeah.
But that sounds like it. So we meet on that first night, and he sparked something in me. Not only, you know, this alluring interest that he was someone I'd never really met anyone like him before, but also because he was cultured and he was interested. And I think above all else, he like listened really intently to what I was saying, maybe because of the language barrier, but also because I think he wanted to really connect. And it's just so crazy. It's like the end of May now. We met in January. It's just crazy that we kept in touch like this.
And you talk all the time.
But yes.
Is he an older man?
Turning 30. But I'm 26, so he's younger than my last.
Oh my God, are you? I mean, not to say only, I'm 32, and I knew I was a couple years older than you, but I feel like just you are so mature. I'm like, wait, 26? I was like, wait, also, like, hold on.
I think, well, you and I are both old souls, so I think that's also something we probably are picking up.
I think
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, I think that's what but I'm sorry, I'm like in shock now. I'm like, wait, 26? I've known you for the song, you're only 26. I remember you were young, but like you are such an old soul that I'm like, wait. So he's 30. He's 30.
Yeah, he's turning 30. And I mean, he's most likely staying in St. Bart's because just like us, they haven't really made any decisions on what's reopening, what's not. He works at a hotel, so.
Is St. Bart's like, I'm trying to think, St. Bart's is closer. Is it close to France, the island, or it's closer to the United States, right? But south.
It's actually closer to the United States.
Okay, good. That's what I thought.
I know. It's better in terms of if I went down there to visit, it's closer. I've never been to France. Have you?
Oh, no, but we're going, baby.
You and I, after our late night talk show.
We're going to France. So are you going to go, or is he going to go? Here.
I
no one's going anywhere, I guess.
I was supposed to be in St. Bart's yesterday.
You were?
Yeah, they canceled my flight. Sucks. And then I rescheduled it June 5th, canceled again. So now I'm like waiting for the refund from Delta, and it's like, am I going to rebook, or I just don't want to keep getting disappointed, you know?
I know. I don't know. I mean, I would keep the money and wait. That's my own guess.
I know. Me too. And also, like, why keep trying to force it? It's like anything. If it's meant to be, it'll happen in right timing.
It will. I know. Sorry, we got sidetracked. My kids were just peeking in, and they should be in bed right now. They are in big trouble. So it's like when you're doing these interviews on Zoom. They are big. She looks at me, we're on camera, and I'm like not swearing. But like, but okay.
Aww.
Now back to, they are in big trouble if you're still listening. Now back to that. I think you're right. I think 2020, I know for me, has been a bunch of, especially with relationships, whatever, not forcing, allowing. Clearly we are not in control. So what are you So you're not forcing it. You're just allowing and trusting the path. You know that for whatever reason, he came into your life and you don't
That's what I mean. And Colleen,
or a lifetime, and just go with that.
thank you. And also, who would have thought, because during quarantine, I think I'd love to hear about like how you've been coping with just, I mean, some of the ways that you've kept yourself maybe out of the void of like getting too lonely or, so yeah, I was in New York City for 3 weeks by myself. Yes, he kept me company, but also like, I wonder if he hadn't been there to like busy myself with these conversations of like French and English lessons, how I would have kind of dealt with it. I mean, I think reflection's been a lot of it. Do you find yourself being kind of nostalgic right now? Like looking back, or what do you think you're doing more of?
You know what? Yes, I'm definitely reflecting right now because it's a lot of like, I feel like I came into I moved in March 13th into this as one person and I'm emerging another. So there's definitely a lot of reflection of that because I grew so much over this past year. So there's been a ton of past reflection right now on that. I would say in general, though, I'm a future thinker. I'm not I don't really look back too often. I will if I have to, but I'm more on my problem when I can't stay in the moment is because I'm too far in the future.
I love that. So yeah, because it's interesting. It's like because everyone wants to escape the present moment right now because nobody just wants to be thinking of how stuck they are and limited. I've heard both sides. Like some people are looking back to the past and reflecting on how great it was back then, and I should have taken advantage of XYZ. But like I think even with the St. Bart's plans that I was having, I was trying to be a future thinker. I was trying to get myself out of the rut and get excited about what's to come. It's just like I guess everything's so undetermined and so uncertain that it's really hard to keep the faith sometimes, but that's why I listen to Billy Joel, and that's one of his best songs.
I love Billy Joel. What do you do to keep the faith?
So every morning I usually, a lot of it's writing. My not exactly a Buddhist account is kind of ironic because I don't practice Buddhism, but I admire it. So I'm kind of like an ignorant Buddhist.
I think we are. I think honestly, most of us, I think everyone who's not a monk or isn't constantly practicing is sort of what I know I am, what you just said.
Yeah, right. So I try and write my way out of, like my faithlessness. Like I try to, take steps to get myself realigned by like writing in the morning. You definitely know this book. It's called The Artist's Way.
Yes.
By Julia Cameron. Yeah. I mean, a Bible. So
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, The Artist's Way is definitely something I've used for almost 10 years, just with morning pages and going outside without my phone. I think that's a lot of it is like getting space from the screen.
Oh my God, so much space from the screen. And that's actually what's coming up a lot for me now. Because I've been doing so much work. It's like learning when to like pull back from it, turn it off, not go to it, and when to internally know when it's too much.
Yeah.
And to pull away from that. What time do you wake up in the morning? Do you have like a morning routine?
Well, lately I've been waking up naturally. The sun sounds so like
I actually now wake up naturally most of the time too, which I love. Go ahead.
I know. It's so nice not having to like check my phone to turn the alarm off. I like not touching the phone in the morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've woken up naturally like the last 6 mornings, which has been really nice. I think because my mind is on Los Angeles and like wanting to move and wanting to do new things. And so whatever, I'm just energized from that. But yeah, I would say like 7 o'clock I'll wake up. And
when do you want to move by?
Listen, if I said July, that's way too soon. So I would have to say with
you never know.
You never know. And also, Colleen, these jobs, if I apply in LA, they might be like, oh, work virtually.
Yeah.
Until you can come out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I'm also open to another city. So for anyone, I don't know why I keep announcing things to people, but
it's good because people announce them.
Okay. Well, for anyone who is considering a big move, don't think it's that big because you never know with the turn of events and how the world is functioning right now, they might be like, work wherever you want. If you want to be remote, whatever the job might be, it's not, you don't have to make that much of a commitment because everything is so uncertain. That's why I think entertaining LA is kind of more realistic than I thought, because you never know what, and who knows?
Do you feel like, New York, you grew up New York, you knew the vibe, you know how to make it. And now do you think you want to go back to LA to try to make it again? And like, make sure it wasn't just the timing the last time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to see if I can do it. I also want to test myself.
Yeah.
I want to be like, all right, I'm older. I have the tools. I saw New York. Now I got to prove it to myself out here.
I love it. I kind of love that. So you think it's harder to make it in LA than New York? I mean, it is sort of different in one ways than others, but with what you were doing now, it's in both.
I would say with entertainment, there are more opportunities in Los Angeles. In New York, I think you'd have, it just depends on your preference. I like New York more personally, but I think it's harder to move up and grow the career. I think if you want to get a higher title and you want to kind of move up the food chain, go to LA.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to go back there. All right. You got your man of the dreams right now, your French man, and you want to go back to LA and you want to kick it. So you want to manifest, right? We're talking about this on a new moon, FYI, the new moon in Gemini. So remember, words are bullets, words are weapons, good and bad. And you want to manifest that. You can have that clear vision, but it's learning to manifest, I think one of the Buddhists, right, they practice non-attachment, I have been learning with manifesting. My goals here in the entertainment industry is manifesting it without attachment.
Yeah, I'm writing down manifest.
Manifest and then try to do it without attachment, meaning so I like to say these are your goals, right? Your goals are, I want this relationship with the French man. And I want to be in LA and I want to have this job. Again, tonight's new moon is good to focus on those long-term goals. But I'm not going to control how it looks, how it gets there, right? Maybe it's a perfect production job in San Francisco. And I would have never thought that there would even be a production job. So you just sort of write those main goals, just don't nitpick necessarily how it's all going to come about.
Right. The details, you mean?
The details. Yeah.
Because the universe is the one that will concoct that.
I like to think so in the big picture. Some people think, and some people say you need to be more specific with certain things. And yes, sometimes you do, and you can. People are like, oh, I manifested my significant other down to the eye color. And I think there are certain things, but I think when it's like big life events, like you're... Yeah. Like, this is huge. Your career is something that's one of the biggest players in your life, and does that make sense?
Totally. No. And it's, I love that we're talking on this night of all nights, because I think there's a lot of intention with that too, having these kinds of conversations. I mean, I don't have a lot of friends that kind of are into this spiritual manifesting space.
Yeah.
So this is really special. I just love that you do what you do.
Aw, that's good, because you can have anything you want, anything that you desire. Do you know what I mean? But I think too, sometimes our past, now that I'm studying astrology, our calling is already in there. So it's probably in your chart somewhere too, this entertainment and being there. So you just keep following that intuition, that calling. And then, and if you go out to LA, and it doesn't work out, you learn something else again from it, or you met someone, but you know that at least is going to be part of your journey.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what scares me about LA, ever living in LA one day? I think I just like to rent a house, is a giant tsunami. I'm not kidding you. It's supposed to after in the earthquake, it's supposed to come and hit LA is my biggest fear.
I could see you in LA though. I mean, maybe I'm partial because I want to see you there, but I don't know.
Well, my brother's in Los Angeles. And I do know a lot of people in Los Angeles. So maybe one day, I don't know. I just couldn't handle all the traffic. We'll see.
And there's no other option. You have to drive.
There's no other option. No, it's crazy.
I know.
It's crazy. So what does the French guy think about you going to LA?
So I know it's kind of been a point of contention, because he doesn't really know where his career is going to lead him. He would have, I think, been more interested in New York versus Los Angeles because he already lived in San Francisco. Interesting.
Oh,
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, he'll probably be in St. Bart's for another year. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I can't wait around for someone. Like,
no.
I want to live my life, you know?
That's true. And that's how I came now, because I feel like I've always waited around or waited for men or made their life first. No, like, this is what I want to do, where I'm going to come. And again, what it comes down to, if he's meant to be a main key player in your life, just keep going about your life, and he will somehow,
He'll show up.
He will show up. The universe will align him.
1,000%.
1,000%. That's what we need to know. And like, if you're ever not sure if you're on the right path, you're not, just look back at your history. That's why I tell people, look back at your life. Everything always led you on to the next thing. You were always on the right path.
Well, and they say, it's interesting, and I don't know if I got this from The Artist's Way or from a class I took, but they say, like, creatives' journeys, and I consider you a creative, you're an artist, you're a creator, anyone who, pretty much all of us are, by the way, but our journeys and our paths are zigzag. They're never going to be a straight line. Like, there's always going to be divots. There's always going to be back roads. There's always going to be shortcuts, or like you're going to get lost. I just think it's really interesting to view life that way, because it's true. Like, I hate thinking, or I don't hate anything, but I don't like to think that my life should have looked like XYZ. Like, at this point, I was so pissed. Oh, I'm not a producer yet,
It's way too. I love that, because I get that. I'm like that too, and I'm laughing because you're like 26.
I know.
Take another forever to get there, but I'm like the same way, and you have to remind yourself, wait, you're like young, and like,
right. And also, what is the rush? Also, like, we have these unrealistic expectations of ourselves, and I don't know where that stems from, but it's like we give ourselves these timelines and these maps that we're supposed to follow for our lives, and it's like, no, I'm using a different navigation system.
Yes, a different one, your intuition navigation system. I love that. All right, now we're getting to the end of our episode, so at the end I ask 3 questions, okay? But since we didn't really talk about your childhood, we're going to do something different for the first question. It's not really a question, but on here right now, state exactly what you want, like your intentions for your life. Tell everyone. We're on the new moon in Gemini tonight, May 22nd. This will air in like 2 weeks, but.
My intention for my life is to tell stories, to live happy, authentic, and powerful stories to tell. Can I start over? Sorry.
Yeah, start over.
I'm starting over. Basically, I'm a storyteller. I want to tell stories. I want to live those stories out as powerfully and meaningfully as I can, and I want to be happy while I'm doing it. I think the key is to laugh every day.
Yes.
To be in love. Laughter is the key. To be in love with every part of my life, and to really be the director and the star of my own film of life. I want to curate it. I want it to be its own art. And I just want to be proud of that art,
That's beautiful. You're going to have all of that.
Oh, thanks, Colleen.
You're going to have every last part of that. I promise you. Now, what's the best piece of advice anyone's ever given you?
Best piece of advice. This is going to sound really silly, but I think there's a lot to be said about being really intentional with your speech. And one of my bosses once told me, stop saying like so much. It sounds like you don't mean what you say. So I really just thought that was interesting, because like when you're like, well, I don't know, like if you don't really there's something really meaningful about thinking before speaking. And that's also a life lesson, think before you speak. Think before you speak. So I think it's an overarching, it's almost a sub point to think before you speak, is be intentional with what you say, I guess is.
I love that. And one of my episodes with a client, Sarah, is like episode 17. She talked about vocal fry. Do you know what that is?
No.
Go back on that episode. She's a lawyer and she talks about this crazy pro bono case, but essentially coming up, she's a woman, a strong woman, and had to make her way through a male, infested job thing. So it's basically like, say you're telling a story, you're like, let's say you're talking to a boss or someone, you're like, yeah, I just want to see where that goes. Like at the end, you go really low. It's almost like, again, you're not sure of what you're saying. So people, vocal fry. So you basically aren't fully confident. And sometimes I do that. I'm very ill to that. So I'll find myself, especially if I think instantly I'm a little bit intimidated, like you said, to instantly be firm in my words. Don't use deflecting words or words that make you sound weak, like, or all that stuff. Vocal fry.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I wrote it down.
Did you? Good.
I'm obsessed. That's such a great term.
I didn't come up with it. So nor did I know about it prior to my client.
You sparked it on episode 17, so you're a producer of it. So
love that. Now, what piece of advice do you want to leave for our listening audience?
Don't be afraid to take the path least taken.
So the path of least resistance?
And that's probably it.
No, I love that. Or what's the other way they say the path? I don't know. But why? Elaborate why that came to you.
Because for so long, I was afraid of entertaining so many different ideas for my life. For instance, entertaining a relationship with someone from a different country, let alone we don't speak the same language. I was so afraid of going back to Los Angeles. I was so afraid of doing certain things at work, speaking up, going back to school. Like all these things were always in a fear belief system. And I guess that my advice stems from, maybe I'm going to edit it and say, don't be afraid to conquer your limiting beliefs. Like you create the mindset.
Yes. You create the mindset. You create the limiting beliefs. You create fears, right?
Yes.
So to move past those fears, that's huge. And that's a huge reminder,
Yeah, exactly. Because you are your own worst enemy.
Always. Our worst enemy, our best friend, all that stuff. Just like tonight, we talked about our intentions. Our words are so powerful. They can either kill you, right, or save you, give you what you want, or give you exactly what you don't want, or give you what you want versus whatever's coming out.
Right. Start focusing on what you do want.
Start focusing on your words and your intentions behind your words. This has been an amazing episode. Now, Megs, tell everyone where they can find you at. If they can reach out or follow you or whatever.
Find me at Not Exactly a Buddhist on Instagram.
Love that. We're friends on there. I'm so excited. Thank you again for this amazing episode.
Holly, you're honestly just a radiant human being. I love listening to you. You're so inspiring. I thank you for having me on. I should have thanked you when I first started, but thank you for having me on this podcast. I'm so honored. I can't wait to see you because you need to do my hair. It's been 5 years.
I can't wait to see you. Maybe I'm hoping sooner it'll be on my talk show. But
can't wait.
But
I'll have my people talk to your people.
Okay, let's talk. Our people will talk. Thank you for coming on and sharing your Hollywood dirt, sharing everything, sharing your soul. I appreciate you. I love you so much. Thank you everyone for listening. If you have a story or want to reach out or have a question for Megan or anything, please reach out to me. The Hair Healer Podcast at yahoo.com or on Instagram, The Hair Healer 1111. Thank you, everyone. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Love you and goodbye.